I've lost faith in lots of things lately.
The Flick Network. We watch movies. We talk movies. Your online movie friends. The Flick Network.
Welcome to the Flick Network episode 2. This is only the second episode, and I'll introduce it this time, but next time it's not going to be me. It's going to be one of these lovely people who join me to watch one of our... Hey, guys, I got the poster.
Oh,
A
cool.
bucket list movies. 100 bucket list movies. Yes, there's scratch
I
off.
noticed that there's nothing scratched off there.
Yeah, I didn't scratch off Shawshank Redemption, and I haven't scratched off the movie we're watching tonight, which was The Dark Knight, the second in the Christopher Nolan movie. But we'll get to that. Joining me, of course, is Not So Shy from Not So Shy. She's not very shy. She's shy. Hi, Shy.
Hi.
Yeah.
Also joining us is electrical engineer by day, Jeff Daly. By night. Hi, Jeff.
Hi.
Hi.
And sick 100% of the time.
Just lately, just on live shows, and yeah. I'm sorry I forced you into these like late night like situations where you need to be active and participating, and then you're dying.
I am dying, but it's the sacrifices I make.
You got Powerade?
Sacrifice.
I drink Powerade when I'm sick. This is Powerade. I'm drinking Powerade, but not because I'm sick. I just like Powerade in general, but I also drink it when I'm sick.
I have hard Mountain Dew.
I feel like that's not the move. I don't think that's the move.
On the
Does that count?
on the Snack Network Live, we drank all the. I made Jeff drink all these Mighty Swells. Yes, the cans are still down here. These are the
Yeah.
Keep It Weird pack of Mighty Swells. There's Tiger Blood and a bunch of other stupid flavors. And you drink those while dying. So, I'm sorry, Jeff. I apologize. And just this entire show is just going to be an apology to both of you.
You want to know something funny?
Yes, I do.
I still have those stupid Bud Lights.
I'm never gonna get rid of those.
I'm going to start drinking beer on this show. I think I've decided. I got to start getting rid of this. I bought a 30-pack of Bush Apple today. So now I have... these videos are coming up. We have all the Natter Days lemonades, so the red, white, and blue, and the pineapple natty light, and pineapple lemonade and a blueberry lemonade, and now I have the Bush Apple. So I have 90 cans of cheap beer in my house right now.
Can we just?
Are you having a
Are
party?
you gonna rename the Snack Network to the Snack Mark or a human's descent into madness?
The Beer Network?
The Beer Network? No, it's bad. It's actually I don't know. I'm not gonna have a party because I've got work to do at my house. All right, guys, we're here to talk about movies, though. This is the Flick Network.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. This is our bucket list movies. Our poster of bucket list movies. They can all be scratched off. I'll scratch them off on TikTok. I promise. I'll get there. Okay.
He won't. He'll say he promises, Shy, but he just won't for like 30 episodes, and then
It's okay.
and then he'll move and he'll say the poster got destroyed.
It did last time. Okay. We've watched The Shawshank Redemption. Wow. Now, second on our list, because we're going in order of the poster. What the poster says is The Dark Knight, director Christopher Nolan.
Let me ask you this question right now, Dave.
Okay. Yes.
Last week we said we would only watch The Dark Knight.
You're right.
This week, let me be clear. Did you watch the entire trilogy?
No, I did not. I finished The Dark Knight yesterday. I watched Batman Begins because I felt that I needed to watch it. And I will
Why?
I will only comment ever so slightly on the Batman Begins here, I promise. But
Yeah, what's that?
Oh God, that movie is here, fine. We'll start with Batman Begins.
Okay.
Batman Begins is really boring.
Mm-hmm.
And it elevates everything that's wrong with The Dark Knight into a pile of the reasons that I don't like The Dark Knight are just worse in Batman Begins. And I think if you're watching these movies,
Dave,
don't watch.
We just agreed last week we'd only watch Dark Knight, so as not to make ourselves biased or deter ourselves from the movie.
Yeah, I didn't
And you
agree
said
to this.
Screw those people. I'm gonna do it my own way.
Listen, I
And
haven't
I'm
seen.
gonna watch Batman Begins and I'm going to admit that I'm jaded because I watched it.
Mm,
No.
mm.
What I realized is that the things that bother me in The Dark Knight are worse in Batman Begins. That is
Okay.
not. That is not to say that I'm jaded because I watch Batman Begins. I can separate the two from each other, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
But I did watch Batman Begins, and I did hate it. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
don't watch it. Don't waste your time. The decision to watch just The Dark Knight might have been preferred. Also, The Dark Knight Rises is not available on HBO Max. So, am I about to pay to watch the third one? Probably not. Although I
Yeah.
did watch the trailer for our next movie, and I'm not excited. Anyway,
But it's still. I mean, The Dark Knight Rises is better than Batman Begins.
Probably. I
that's
don't remember it at all, so I can't. I
I
don't.
do.
all I remember about The Dark Knight Rises. I thought it was really boring, and Batman lays in a hole for an hour and a half of the movie, and I didn't like it when it came out. So,
I
uh,
think I saw that one in theaters.
I did see Dark. I saw Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises in theaters. I did not see
Yeah, I saw them both in theaters.
Batman Begins. I did not see in theaters.
Mm-mm.
I don't
Hmm.
actually know if I've ever seen Batman Begins until this week.
Really?
I can't remember, which is mostly why I watched it. So, before I have a very strong opinion about The Dark Knight,
Yeah.
Shy, how are we feeling about this movie? Because I think I know where Jeff's gonna sit, but I want to hear where you're sitting with The Dark Knight.
Okay, so I first watched it in theaters when it came out, whatever year that was. Really don't remember.
2008, the same year that Iron Man 1 came out.
Oh, that's a great movie.
That,
Anyway,
yep, we're gonna get there.
so okay, so I remember that when I was a child watching that movie,
When
I
you were a
was
young boy.
obsessed. When I was a young boy. Anyway, it was great. I didn't go with my father. I actually went with my mother. But anyway, it was a really great movie. Childhood me was obsessed. Rewatching it though, I feel like it was a decent movie with a really great villain. Like that. So basically, I was pretty much chilling. It was average, middle of the road, and then when Joker was on screen, it was a great movie. That's basically what I would say.
Jeff,
Yeah.
please enlighten us on how you're feeling emotionally, because we only judge movies completely on emotional value. Uh,
Emotionally, I feel sick. That's right.
that would be physically,
No,
Jeff. That's
That's
no.
physical.
I haven't watched this movie since it came out, 2008.
I have not either. So
And I have realized after watching it, it is the peak. I think it's the peak of DC movies. I think I really enjoyed, still enjoyed every aspect of the movie.
I'd like to ask you how high that peak of DC movies is.
What do you mean, how high the peak is?
Uh,
It depends on if it's recent DC movies or earlier DC movies.
No, if this is the epitome, if this is the peak,
Okay, I would say that compared to Marvel movies,
mhm.
The Dark Knight, I would consider it in the top tier if you even compare with Marvel movies. Yeah,
Interesting.
So what I'm gonna say here. Hi everybody.
yeah.
Tuck in, everybody get ready. I saw The Dark Knight in theaters. I'm pretty sure I went with Jeff. The way I remember it. And I remember leaving that theater thinking, that is legitimately one of the coolest movies I've ever seen in my whole life.
Right? It was so fucking cool.
And then I grew up and I never watched it again, ever. I never watched it again. And then I saw Batman v Superman. And then I saw The Dark Knight Rises. I'm sorry, those in the wrong order, but I saw Dark Knight Rises and thought, God damn, I hate this movie. I hated Dark Knight Rises when I saw it in theaters. I thought it was boring, badly paced, and awful. What is Jeff getting?
I'm sorry, I really need a new water. I've been just guzzling down water. I should have muted. Keep going.
No, it's fine. So after a series of Batman movies since The Dark Knight that I have not liked, never seeing anything but a few Batman comic books that I have enjoyed over the years, a few of the major lines, Killing Joke, things I've gone back and read, right? I have not loved Batman at all since The Dark Knight came out in theaters, honestly. And after watching it, and after watching The Batman, the 2022 film, The Batman,
Which no one told you to do, by the way.
no one told me no one told me to do that either, but we all did that anyway. Or we should have all done that. I've come to the conclusion that I think Batman movies suffer from a thing called, what I'm going to call right now, is a pacing issue of escalation to a point that is stupid. And I thought that this movie, in the current landscape of other comic book movies, is mediocre, badly paced, too slow, and doesn't get exciting until the end. And Batman as a character is not valuable at all. So I'm prepared for the comments to come after me and say Dark Knight is the greatest comic book movie ever made. And I will stand by the fact that I think it takes this problem and makes it this thing that repeats over and over and over, and to the point where Gotham is on its absolute last leg of crazy stupidity before it gets exciting, and that's the last 20 minutes of a 2.5-hour movie. I agree that the Joker on screen is amazing. It is an incredible performance. The scene that I remember did not stand out in the way that I thought it did. I think other scenes that are way more effective work better. But even the high stakes moments are dramatic, but I don't think very exciting nor good.
Let me tell it to you this way, Dave. You like Marvel movies in the way that every second of a Marvel movie is surrealism, to where it's larger than life. A lot of what Marvel movies is there's no dark underbelly of things. It's how they're gonna do it. And I don't know. I just think that DC movies are gritty. Like DC, even the comic books in general, represent a grittier time, like more crime based, more like real life type enemies.
You think a crazy guy showing up into a city killing 6 cops and the entire city starts crumbling around him to the point where he blows half a dude's face off, and the entire city's going to blow up 2 boats, one full of criminals, one full of people who put those criminals there.
Dave, think about that compared to like Thanos.
I think it's more likely that an alien comes down to Earth and tries to kill us all than it is that somebody tries to flood a city for the 50th billionth time, or just create chaos for the sake of chaos.
I am not going to argue realism in comic book movies,
right,
because there's no point.
Right.
That's number one.
Okay.
But I understand what Jeff is saying, where the tone is different.
I agree. The tone is different.
It doesn't really seem fair to compare, but we're going to, because they're all comic book movies, right? They're all superhero movies. So naturally, our minds are going to make comparisons. I feel like The Dark Knight, for its time, was really awesome, and now we're spoiled.
Yes.
I think we're spoiled because we have so many so many superhero movies, and there's a formula that we're used to and a vibe that we're used to and that we prefer, and this is different, and it came out years and years ago. For the time, it was definitely groundbreaking, I feel like, for superhero movies anyway. But rewatching it, it kind of just felt like, oh, okay, this is a superhero movie. I'm having fun. Um, I don't, the pacing didn't bother me so much. I'm gonna be real with you right now. I did not finish this movie. That has nothing to do with the movie itself. That is my life. I chose a bad day to watch it, and then shit came up, and blah blah blah. Has nothing to do with the movie. Why I didn't finish it.
All right, well, it gets really exciting in the last 20 minutes.
Well, I know. I mean, I've seen it. I know. But for the part that I did watch, the pacing didn't bother me so much because I feel like I'm kind of used to that. That's kind of the way TV worked back then, and movies. Like, I used to watch a lot of cop shows, and like a lot of like it has that vibe where it's like kind of more conversational and kind of more whatever until shit happens, and then it happens.
Yeah, but
And that was fine with me, but I will agree that we're spoiled, and now it just doesn't hit the standard anymore, you know?
I
And
don't know.
now, compared to what we have now, it is a little bit above mediocre, but definitely not,
not top
you
tier.
know, definitely not top tier for me at all.
Guys.
Joker is top tier for sure.
I haven't seen.
100%.
I have not watched Joker, and
Oh God.
but I'm
You
willing
not
to.
watched Joker, Dave? We went out and watched all these other movies you have not watched.
Wait,
Joker.
listen. Let me
I-
tell you what I watched this week. You want to break down what I watched this entire week? I'll tell you right now. I watched one episode of Simpsons season 5. One episode.
Dave,
Okay.
you could not
No,
have
hold
watched
on.
Batman
Hold
Begins
on.
and
Hold
watched
on.
Joker.
I watched Batman Begins.
Yeah,
I
but you
watched
didn't.
The Dark Knight, and
Yeah.
I watched one episode of the latest episode of Miss Marvel. That is all I have watched this week. That is the entirety. There
Yeah,
is
and you
there's
could have
nothing else.
watched the Joker instead of Batman Begins.
Except see, we're in this thing where we're watching this movie that's in the middle of these other two movies, and I don't like not knowing where the movie's supposed to be coming from. Also, everybody said that like when The Dark Knight Rises came out, and all their Batman people who love Batman, no matter what Batman's doing, even when it's shitty, these people exist. I'm just gonna say it by it.
Yeah, the Batman people exist.
Um,
Just like the Captain America people
you're right.
and the Iron Man people. They all
Yeah, just like the Iron Man people, Dave. Just like
I-
the Iron Man.
I'd like
I'm an
I'd,
Iron Man person, by the way.
I'd,
So.
I'd like to stand up right now and say that I think Iron Man's a piece of shit too as a human being in a completely different way. But that's part of why Iron Man is.
I love him.
That's-
I love
But
him.
you
That's
all,
why we
you,
love
all,
him.
you also say Iron Man 3 is a good movie.
I do like Iron Man 3. I think Iron Man 3 is the best Iron Man movie of the trilogy.
Oh, that Dave, I can't agree with you there. I'm sorry.
So I will say that what I'm going for is DC movies, especially this one, is a more mental type of movie, to where it's not as like actiony or as like choreographed or like.
I disagree
big
so
CGI
strong.
Marvel.
Shy brought up this thing where we're talking about how like it's a like conversation driven, like build up this pattern of like conversation. No, there is so much bullshit with Batmobiles and bat cycles and
Yeah, but
unnecessary
there's-
action. That's loads of bullshit. There are scenes in both Batman Begins and The Dark Knight where they double cut frames. Why? I don't know, but as an editor, it drives me up a fucking wall.
We're not talking about editing and shit.
Dave,
because
I'm talking
I
about.
no.
Dave, I'm talking about how the Joker's whole shtick in the Dark Knight was to
Create chaos.
to create chaos and show even the best people fall, and to get everybody's mind that he's there to cause chaos and to, make everybody afraid. He turned Harvey Dent into a villain, the best into a villain, and he tried to show that everybody can cause chaos or cause evil. And then
feel like
if you go to Marvel, you know what Thanos is? I'm going to collect all the Infinity Stones and stab. Every character in Marvel is more of a direct path to hurt society.
Less psychological, I guess what you're saying.
Less
I
The motives are less psychological. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
I'm willing to agree that I think the Joker is probably a better villain than most Marvel
Yeah, the
characters.
Joker's a really great villain.
And I don't even know, based on this is the very little DC comic book reading I've done. I don't even feel as if this movie does justice to the Joker's relationship to Batman enough. And maybe I think maybe if we were given the opportunity to get future movies with Joker in them, other than the unfortunate events that occurred, I think that may have changed over time. I think because Joker was supposed to be a major player in the villain of that next movie, and that obviously did not happen for reasons we'll get to.
For obvious reasons.
But I don't. Part of the reason that I love Spider-Man villains is their direct emotional relationship with Peter, and the reason that they're always the reason they're fighting is a personal thing between the two of them. Always, it's never as simple as this bad guy's trying to tear down my city, right, and destroy things. This is the Kingpin and Daredevil relationship, not the Spider-Man and Doc Ock relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so, maybe I feel like the Joker relationship to Batman in the comics is definitely more personal, and maybe that would have taken time.
Yeah, that definitely would have taken time, and I feel like wasn't really the point of this movie.
I feel like it was setting up for that. The fact that Batman is a symbol. He's the opposite symbol of what the Joker's trying to be the symbol of. And that back and forth that becomes the later relationship between those two characters is something that I don't think we totally got here. And I wanted to.
And I will still continue to say that Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker is still great. A1.
No one. I feel like no one's arguing that.
Yeah, no.
Dave?
But
no, absolutely not.
I like this movie because rarely any other Batman movies really they always focus on the Batman, and a lot of them don't cover the Bruce Wayne aspect.
That I will say that I did enjoy. I more than I remember. I enjoyed more seeing Bruce as Bruce, and I feel like I had more fun watching him and whatever the fuck stupid drama he was going through than I did watching Batman beat up people.
Yes.
Is that dumb?
No, that's 100% agree with you. And that's
okay.
And I this is the problem. And this is the problem with Batman for me, is we don't get enough of why Bruce matters. We get this vicious Batman who's so hell-bent on justice, but we never get a reason for why. We don't.
What do you mean?
We don't.
I mean, we have the origin story and all
and I watched it, and
I feel like they don't spend enough time on Bruce as Bruce, because to me, it's more entertaining than the Batman. Obviously they're the same person, but I have more, like I said, I enjoy more when Bruce was on screen than I enjoyed him as the Batman on screen.
And this is why Daredevil as a character I love so much, right? I care about Matt Murdock, and the best thing about Matt Murdock is Matt Murdock, and he does take people up onto roofs and speak in a deep voice and threaten them to get answers. But but it's more emotionally valid because I care about him, and I don't ever feel like in either of these movies, and especially The Dark Knight, that I get enough of Bruce. I get more Bruce in The Dark Knight, and it's important, but I don't think I get enough of it. And I want to care about Bruce and feel bad when I want to feel bad when Harvey Dent pretends to be the Batman so that Bruce has to go after him. I don't think it worked. I don't think it worked.
I feel like we need more Bruce time. I feel like if there was a Batman show and we actually got to spend, because with Daredevil in the movie, whatever. But the show where you actually get to know who he is and understand him and his relationships with other people, and like they have so much more time,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a TV show. And I feel like if we had more time with Bruce and then this movie came out, it would have been better because we actually know who he is and give a shit about him, more so
And
instead of him just being like this suave rich dude with childhood trauma.
yeah, and that more time we get should be in Batman Begins, and it's not. It's just not.
Mm.
And so, if anybody hasn't gotten it very clearly, I think I hate Batman now. And
Dave, you're so polarizing.
I mean, but we need that though because I'm not. So we need that.
The one thing that I wish this movie had more of is Batman's billed as the world's greatest detective. And I wish there was more detective aspects in this movie.
You mean him like drilling like a hole in like one wall wasn't enough during one crime scene? You mean that wasn't enough detecting for you?
Where he installs the bullet's trajectory pattern, where he
Yeah.
made Lucius do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't enough for you, Jeff? No, I agree.
Look, I'm just saying, is the world's greatest detective, and the entire thing, you're like, this is this guy who beats it up, but he's like, he doesn't show his smarts at all.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. It's really like, oh, suave rich dude, and then he puts on the suit and is like, oh, he's a brute, and he's gonna smash the bad guys, but like, he's also a genius, and we don't.
I don't believe that. I've never.
Exactly. That's the thing. No one believes it, and that's why Iron Man does it better.
Everybody asks who is Batman. Nobody asks why is Batman.
Right, but yet if his entire reason for being Batman is to be a symbol for Gotham, and yet I don't feel that we ever get that. like it's these crime bosses who know he exists. He comes out in the shadows and kills people, but he's supposed to be like a symbol for justice for the entirety of Gotham. Like that's why Batman's Batman. And yet I don't feel like we ever get that. Also, I understand that we're trying to build up to this big moment where he's going to finally like interact with the Joker, but I don't feel like we get enough of that. I want more scenes. I want more scenes than him just beating him in like the interrogation room.
Dave, you're asking for this movie to be longer.
No,
Dave's asking for a series, which is what I want.
Dave's asking for this movie to be longer, but he's also saying it's too long.
Skip a bunch of the beginning. Skip a bunch of the crime, the other bullshit crime shit that's going on. I don't need Batman to interrogate like 20 people. Like I don't need it. So just
they had to have a homage to the Scarecrow.
Yeah, the Scarecrow that you literally wouldn't know that it was the Scarecrow in Batman Begins if you didn't like read comic books. Sure, at the end of that movie, he's going, Scarecrow. Everybody's going crazy. Everybody got shot with more flooding of Gotham because every single villain has to flood Gotham with bombs every single time. I don't know.
You are crazy, Dave.
You're right. I'm crazy. I don't like The Dark Knight. I don't like Batman Begins. I didn't like The Batman. I think they take too long to build up into the points where I'm actually invested. I wish that the first hour and a half of both those movies was cut off and then replaced with another hour and a half that takes place during the actual climax of the story. It's like the whole entire movie is in Act 1. Act 2 is 5 minutes, and then Act 3 is 10 minutes. That's how I feel, and I'm going to stand by.
I have no problem with the spacing of this movie. I thought it was perfectly fine, and I still think this is, one of the best depictions, of the Joker, of course.
Why did he have to blow up a hospital and set two boats to kill each other?
Because he's a Joker.
Chaos. Duh.
Why
He's
does
the
Thanos have
fucking
to snap his
Joker.
finger and kill half of society?
To save everyone.
Literally. I'm gonna kill half of you so I can save you.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah, they're both freaking crazy. It's just one's an alien and one was created by society. It really is like more mind, more mental, more psychological, and less like big cosmic terror, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying one is better than the other at all.
Well, I don't think
They're
comparing.
just completely different.
I don't think comparing Thanos to the Joker is fair.
No,
I think the
completely
Joker
different.
could beat up Thanos. No, I'm just kidding.
No one is pitting them against each other, okay? This is not the what do they do, Superman versus Goku argument. Like, no one's doing that.
Okay.
What's happening is they're just two completely different types of villains.
The Joker is a much better villain than Obadiah Stane is. He's a much better villain than Whiplash is. He's a much better villain than the Mandarin is in Iron Man 3, not the real Mandarin.
Look, I'm just saying that the Joker just wants chaos. He doesn't need
that's
a
his
reason
aim.
to do it. He just wants
He
to
really
cause
doesn't.
chaos.
Okay, but see, here's the
And
thing.
if you watched Joker,
I need motivation. I need
His
motivation.
motivation is to cause chaos, Dave.
I need more
he
motivation.
has motivation. You just don't see it in that movie because it's not about him. The movie is about Batman.
If it's not in the movie,
It should
I
be
can't talk
about
about it
him.
if it's not in the movie. Like,
I know, but I'm saying like the movies. It's not a Joker movie. It's a Batman movie. So they didn't really put his motivation in there because that's not what the movie is.
and that's why Infinity War is such a good movie, is because it's not a hero movie; it's a Thanos movie.
Honestly, it is a Thanos movie.
And that's the reason. And the Batman movie should have been the Batman Begins, and this should have been a Joker movie.
Honestly, the Joker, which they made literally years later, is
The movie I want.
amazing. It's so good. It's so good, and it's got all the motivation. Not for Bruce, but
I don't give
for
a shit about
Joker.
Bruce. That's the problem.
Yeah, fuck
that's
Bruce.
that's the entire problem with this.
Make a Batman show. I think that's what I'm saying. I think that's what Dave's saying. Teach us more. I want to know more about Bruce.
I think that's the curse of it all, is that like it's a Batman movie, but I don't care about Batman.
Yeah.
And so like, yes, Joker deserves to be the lead in this movie, doesn't get it, and Batman is the main character, and we don't get his.
And nobody cares.
And I don't care about him either. So like,
so what I'm saying is, I feel like, okay, this is where we're at, right? Like
yep.
Jeff is like big fan. Dave is like, fuck this movie, and I'm like in the middle.
Yeah, guys. That's where we're at.
You're not rooting for like sure Batman it's a Batman movie, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you're also rooting for like the goodness in everybody in Gotham to prevail over the Joker. It's a movie about not just Batman, but like how everybody sure can have some evil in them, but there's always hope in everybody's hearts.
Except for the Joker.
So, like the ferry scene where the convict took the detonator and threw out the window.
Yeah.
And then so I'd say even the worst criminals still have humanity in them.
To do the right thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
And then even like the best of society and the other fairy have see humanity in everybody, no matter what they did.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I like the psychologicalness that they try to do in DC content. You know, not everything they do is like that, but they try to, and I like that a lot. The little mind. I mean, it's very cool. And what I will say is watching this and watching Joker's performance, and putting that together with the Joker movie and like his story arc was like kind of insane. Like to see how he started and then be reminded of where he is,
Considering,
or ended up. Yeah, was
considering.
really interesting.
All right, so before we move on to our next section of this show, I will say I will watch that Joker movie because the sequel sounds so incredibly awesome to me that I can't stand that I won't watch it. So I
They're
will.
making a sequel?
They're
I didn't
making
even know.
they're making a sequel. It's a musical. Okay.
No, it's not. You're
Yeah,
lying.
no, I'm not lying. It's a musical, and are you ready?
I mean, yeah.
Lady Gaga is playing Harley Quinn. that is the current rumor right now. And if this actually happens, which is still I think questionable, I have to see it.
What the fuck?
That is the current rumor.
Is this like an April Fool's
No,
thing
this is a
in
real.
June?
This was
like
a
what's happening right
This came out like the same day as the Barbie screenshots for
now?
the
I
Barbie
feel like
movie
you're
that looks
fucking with me right
looks
now.
amazing.
But I just
What?
This concept I am so on board for that I cannot stand it.
Musical?
Yeah.
A musical. A musical. Anyway,
What-
why? This is my question. I love musicals.
Because
I'm a big
basically
theater nerd.
why would they make a sequel to what is a movie that from everything I understand without not what I didn't watch it. It doesn't need a sequel. It shouldn't get a sequel. It doesn't seem like it's right. You'd need to do something weird to make a sequel worth it. This is what supposedly they're doing.
Oh God, I am scared.
I can't wait.
That's my initial reaction. Like I'm very intrigued because, like I said, I love musicals. Love Lady Gaga. Really don't think she
I
has
don't
the
think it's
look for Harley. She doesn't really give me Harley vibes. Like she can. I know she's a great actress actually, which surprised me.
We'll find out, I guess.
but I feel like she could probably pull off the crazy of Harley, but I don't think she has like the cuteness of Harley. You know what I mean?
I
like, the
feel
vibe, the like little petite, like adorable blonde girl. I don't think Gaga can give us that.
Yeah, but I'm willing to wait and find out. If
I
this,
mean,
there's a total possibility that that idea is so ridiculous that it seems like it's happening, but like it's so ridiculous that this may never happen.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
It sounds like Joker gets really high
Oh yeah.
and the movie is just like his fucking fever dream. That's what this sounds like.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
just be
I would
him in
love to
jail.
hear what's
Yeah, Jeff.
what was that?
It could just be him in jail, because that's how Harley Quinn and him met.
Yeah, literally nothing actually has to actually happen in this. Because
That's what I'm saying.
they can
like,
it can all be a fever dream story. That's fine. I honestly think that'd be way cooler.
It could just be a romance.
Yeah. And that's
stop, like a wanky asylum romance. I love that idea.
yeah, no, this
But so this movie, The Dark Knight, came out. Let's go back to The Dark Knight.
all right, let's go back to Dark Knight. I'm sorry.
This movie
Yeah,
came
you're
out
right.
the same
We've
year as
sidetracked.
Iron Man.
Yeah, all right, let's talk about the coming out the same year as Iron Man 1. I think
Were they really far apart?
No,
I
it's
feel
like 2
Dark
months.
Knight was a summer movie. It was
It-
2 months?
yeah, Iron Man came out and
No
then
way.
2 months later this came out.
That feels so wrong.
That's because we've watched Iron Man like a million times since.
I know, but
Dave.
I remember.
You have watched Iron Man a million times since. You can't just
Oh.
assume that everybody's watched Iron
No,
Man.
you know, but you know why that got messed up in my head is because the time that I was remembering seeing Iron Man was actually when I went to see the first Avengers movie. Because the timeline wasn't adding up in my head. I was like, there's no way they were that close, but I was remembering when I went to see Avengers. Never mind.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember the first time I saw the Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I saw it in theaters. I might have. That's
I think I did. I don't think I saw all the Phase 1 movies in theaters for the MCU, but I definitely did see Iron Man 1 in theaters and loved
I
it.
might have.
I
I
loved it.
feel like I did.
I loved both these movies in 2008.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved them. I also loved them. I am obsessed. Iron Man is my favorite Avenger.
Okay.
Has been since I saw it. I think actually, I think I might have seen the Avengers movie before I saw Iron Man because I don't remember seeing it in theaters
That
at all.
You're slightly younger than us.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah, which would have made seeing Dark Knight even a debatable question.
No, yeah, I was definitely too young. Me and my sister were for sure too young to be in that theater, for sure.
I think I was 16, which watching
How old
this,
am
I guess I would have been 16. Um, I feel like when I saw it, I thought I was too young to see
I?
it.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm
I'm trying to do
30.
math.
I'm 30.
Okay, I'm 26.
Uh, uh,
So, okay.
yeah. No, I'm old
Okay.
now. I'm old.
Yep.
So then I was probably like 12 or like 13
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. Something like
How
that.
old are you, Dave?
I'm 30, Jeff.
No, I mean, what?
I think I was 16. I think I was 16.
Yo, that means my sister was like 6. That's crazy.
Yeah,
She
that's
fucking loved it. She loved that shit. We were both so hyped. Like we walked out of that theater, we were like, that was amazing. My mom, I think my mom just wanted to see it and didn't have anyone to watch us, so she just took us.
I think that happens.
Because we were really great movie kids. Like we sat still and watched movies. We never had problems with that because that was our dad's favorite thing to do with us, is take us to the movies.
Oh, my dad only went to Spider-Man and the Simpsons movies.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, he went to Spider-Man 1 and 2 and Spider-Man 3 and he
We
went
went to Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah, he went to episode 1 with my brother and they walked out cuz my dad hated it so much and my brother was
Oh,
bored
damn.
bored to tears.
No,
Oh,
no,
damn.
no. I can see where you get it from, Dave.
And he took us to like really horrible movies like the Pokemon movie. And so like my dad was like, I'm not going to any of these stupid ass movies.
Yeah, my dad loved movies. My dad taught me how to movie hop.
My wow.
Yeah, like we used to buy our one ticket, like whatever. He'd be like, "What's in the theaters that you guys want to see?" And we would buy tickets to that, whatever my sister and I wanted to see. And then we'd get our snacks and watch the movie we wanted to see. And then we would just walk out and go find something that he wants to see and go see that. And then we would leave. So every time we went to the movies, we saw 2 movies.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
My mom was off in the summers because she was a teacher, so she took us to all the movies.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of movies in the theater growing up.
I
But
am 80% sure you were sitting next to me when we saw Dark Knight and Iron Man 1. But
I don't remember. That's so long ago. So where would you rank The Dark Knight in superhero movies on the Marvel scale?
What is the Marvel scale?
okay,
Just
so
in terms of all the Marvel movies.
like it's definitely I'm going to put it like next to like oh god, I know people are going to be mad. I already know. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
first,
Here's
okay,
what I'll
before
do.
we answer
I'm
this-
not
before we
ranking
answer this,
I'm not going to rank all my Marvel movies. I'm just going to tell you where it's sitting between. Okay? It's sitting between like Ant-Man and it's like right below Ant-Man. That's all I'm going to say.
And right above what?
Oh, nope, that's it. I'm going to say it's right below Ant-Man.
I want to know. Okay, wow, this is a sidetrack. I don't know, but like,
I'm not
so
going to tell you how I feel about Ant-Man. That's not fair.
it's not fair. I enjoyed Ant-Man. I thought it was fun. Have I rewatched it? Not much,
All right.
but I had a blast watching it though. But anyway, so I'm trying to figure out like what my mediocre Marvel movies are, because that's just where I would put it, because I've never really thought about it before.
Thor.
Um, Thor. Okay, Ragnarok was great.
Yeah,
It'd
no,
be hilarious if Dan said Ant-Man.
that would have been the correct joke.
Ragnarok was great.
Ragnarok
Thor
is
2,
amazing.
the uh,
This is such
there's
a side
three
tangent.
Thor movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't
Thor: The
even-
Dark World. Actually, there's the answer. It sits below Ant-Man and right above Thor: The Dark World. That's where the dark.
Yeah.
That's where the
That's
Dark
the
Knight
second
sits.
Thor, right?
Yeah.
Is that the second Thor? Yeah, that one was trash for sure.
Yeah.
That was definitely a less than mediocre movie.
It's above trash, but it's not as good as movies I enjoy. That's where the Dark Knight sits.
I would put The Dark Knight with Ant-Man, but that's different for me because I had fun. I liked Ant-Man. It's not my favorite, and I haven't rewatched it much.
That's why
but
I put
I
it.
liked it.
That's why I
I
put it
put the
below
Dark-
Ant-Man. I enjoyed Ant-Man. I slightly didn't enjoy the Dark Knight.
I would put The Dark Knight just below Thor Ragnarok.
Really?
Okay, but see,
Wow.
I worry that Jeff puts Thor Ragnarok at the very top of his list.
It's a great movie.
It is,
It's really
Yes.
good.
but it might be Jeff's favorite MCU movie.
Okay,
He said
I'll
he
put
loves
The Dark Knight above all of the Iron Man movies.
Okay, that's questionable, but I'll take it.
I'll take it. I don't know if I agree with it, but I
love Iron Man, dude.
Let me tell you, I
it's,
don't know what it is about Morgan Freeman movies. But
all right, let's
No.
talk about Morgan Freeman appearing again.
Love him.
Love him. I want him in every. Here's what I want. I want
Is
the.
he on- is
I
he
want
on
him in every
on
movie.
this list?
I want him in every single one of these movies.
Wait, can Morgan Freeman just do the audio description for every movie?
Oh, that would be
Ever?
so amazing if he did
What
all
if-
AD.
What if they made The Dark Knight like Shawshank Redemption, but in Batman is like, and good old
If
Bruce Wayne.
if,
He
Oh,
was
he's
right
just like
there.
narrating it.
if you did an Arkham Asylum movie, or an Arkham prison movie,
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
was basically the Shawshank Redemption. And oh god, I don't know. I had to think about this more to place who would be like who, but Bruce Wayne is in the position of Andy Dufresne.
Yeah.
Mm.
I kind of love this idea, but I want all the
Someone
other.
make it.
I want everybody in the prison to be like psychotic Batman villains, just
So-
like all of them. Like everybody is nuts.
Here's what I'm telling you I enjoy the most about The Dark Knight
Okay.
is that this is what I enjoy about a lot of movies, and this is like one big like trope that I really like, is the villain, the Joker. It seems like no matter what happened or what was done until almost the very end, it seemed like he always had it in his plan for what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So you don't know if what's going on in the movie is what the Joker has planned or what's going outside of his plan. It always looked like he had it together in the entire plan. And it had Bruce Wayne, the Batman, had to work to get out of his plan and make things not go as expected for him.
I like that
But
too.
I
I think
really
that makes a
like-
good villain.
I really like a good brainiac villain who knows exactly what they're doing at all times. And even if it's not going to plan, they make it their plan.
Yeah, man. Love that shit. I don't think anyone's arguing that Joker's like a great villain.
And until that boat doesn't explode at the end of the movie, the ferry, the entire time, like, this is his entire plan. Like, everything he's doing is going to plan, even going to jail, to where you thought it wasn't in his plan to go to jail. He wanted to get hit or something by a Batman, and so even Batman will fall. But it is even in his plan to go to jail.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
He's a great villain. Joker's a great villain.
Guys,
Dave
so
needs to watch
And I,
Joker.
well, I did take note of this. The Batman does not kill people, but throwing a dog off a huge tall building.
I did take
is
note of this
no
too.
gripes. He killed 5 dogs in that movie.
He also doesn't kill people, but he'll let people die, which I don't know if I feel okay about that.
Which
I
person
feel like
did not die?
I'm sorry. This is Batman Begins bullshit. I'll let it go. I'll let
fuck Batman
We're talking
Begins.
about the Dark
No
Knight.
one told you to watch that shit.
But this isn't like the Batman v Superman movie where he's like,
that movie's a load of shit, garbage.
Yeah, that was ridiculous, dude. What the fuck was that? What was that?
Especially if this is Batman's moral code, that this is what we've established as Batman, like the definitive version of Batman is the Dark Knight rules.
And then
Okay.
they gave him a gun. Like what? What?
I mean, he's had guns in the comics, but he didn't like ever brutally murder people like this. Like it's not it's not the character we established in the movie world, and you basically made up a freaking new Batman and made him the lead of a movie that sucked.
It's crazy.
Don't
Anyway.
DC people get mad in the comments. Go. Let's go, DC. Let's go.
What the Dark Knight had really going for it is I liked the acting a lot.
Performances across the board are amazing. The movie is too dark cinematography wise, and the edits are weird at some points, but it's fine. And I'm not arguing that it is an extremely well made movie.
Yeah, the actors were all great. I would agree with that.
Yep.
I'll tell you,
the like main actors were awesome.
And I get why some people don't like it. Probably less people don't like it than more people, but I just like the movies where the villain has a plan together the entire time.
Yeah. It's solid. If you make it a Joker movie, it's a good movie.
Yeah, fix it. Make a better movie next time.
If it's a Joker movie, it's a great movie. Like I said,
I'm the only one sitting here not biased. I'm the only one who only watched The Dark Knight and finished the entire movie.
I didn't finish it, but I didn't watch
Batman
the other one.
You guys are both biased. This whole episode is a crock of shit.
Hey, I'm offended.
I'm glad this is episode 2 already.
It's like I watched The Dark Knight. I watched Batman Begins. I read up on his entire IMDb. I figured out his entire past life.
Oh, I don't want to talk about Christian.
Comic books.
I don't want to talk about Christopher Nolan at all. Guys, we have some fun facts in the notes. I hope somebody opened up the notes.
I do.
Okay, good.
I did not.
And there's also a link to like 20 other facts if anybody wants to, or like there's a list I put in there. It's 20 reasons why The Dark Knight is the best comic book movie still. And I strongly disagree with this entire list, but I still put it in the notes so that you guys could have a source to argue about in the comics or in the comments. Oh, okay, Jeff, please elaborate us with some fun facts. I like Shy's little fun notes that I'm going to leave in there too.
That it wasn't just a Batman movie; it was a Harvey Dent movie. It was a Two-Face movie.
Yeah. It was like a Two-Face origin story inside of a Batman movie.
That's something crazy I didn't know is Christian Bale didn't do the Batman voice in his added post credits.
Yeah,
they Darth Vadered him up.
Yeah, it's a effect. It's a post production effect.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Is it like a sound synthesizer, or they just deepened his voice?
It's a little questionable what they do. I hate the Batman voice. I love making fun of it.
Same.
Though. I hate it and everything. Batman. I love when people make fun of it. I love the Lego movie. Oh, and here last thoughts on.
God, the Lego movie.
Can we talk about my favorite Batman movie for 2 seconds? It's the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's my favorite Batman movie. Okay.
Darkness.
The most
parent.
The least like Batman movie.
It's the Lego Batman movie. I love the
it
Lego
so
Batman
much.
movie. It's so good.
So good.
You know why the Lego Batman movie is good? Because Batman's doing the Batman thing where he's always brooding and hates everyone, but at the same time they do this thing where they make me give a shit about him.
Yes.
Like it's all a facade. It's a facade that he's trying to be tougher than he is, and it gives me an emotional value to care about Robin and his family and everyone involved, and that's when the Lego Batman movie is a better movie.
It's so good.
Jeff's like
Darkness.
It's a good movie, but it's not a Batman movie. It's a Lego movie.
It's a Batman movie.
It's called the Lego Batman movie. So
a Lego movie.
it's not a Lego movie.
No, the Lego movie is
a Lego movie. Yeah.
Which is also great.
Yes.
I thought that movie was going to be so bad.
I did too. I went. Yeah.
It's not a Batman movie. It's not a true. Sure, yes.
I think we offended Jeff.
The Lego Batman movie, the movie that takes place between the Lego Movie 1 and 2, is a Batman movie. And if you want to fight me, I will fight you.
So good. Jeff, have you seen it?
Yeah, I think I saw it with him.
It's a good movie, but it's not a Batman movie.
I mean, it's definitely a movie about Batman.
Yeah, I'd like you to
it's a movie about Lego Batman.
Okay.
One of the
Is
other
that
cool
not Batman?
One of the other cool fun facts, that truck they flipped in the movie in The Dark Knight, they did that practically. They like really flipped the truck.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
With
I
a
love
real
practical
like a
effects.
real stunt driver. Like that's why it's crazy and cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. That's what makes real special effects look real good, is when they're not really special
Yeah.
effects, when they're just
Right.
when
Like,
we flipped a truck.
that's so cool. It's really cool. Now I want to rewatch that scene.
Yeah. Jeff, I think you have more. I'm doing this without reading the notes.
I don't know. Christian Bale really beat up Heath Ledger.
Yep.
And the police scene.
Yeah, an interrogation scene. He actually had him.
I knew that. I think that was something Heath Ledger wanted.
Yeah, Heath Ledger wanted that.
Yeah, because he had gone nuts, and his character drove him to an actual damaging state that led to his death.
Yeah, because he's a method actor. So
yeah, and he died at the age of like 28.
yeah,
like he's
that was
28.
really sad.
It's horrible. It's absolutely sad and depressing.
Terrible.
I mean, I'm glad we got this incredible performance. The sad part is we didn't get any more amazing, incredible performances after this.
Yeah.
Enough silence for Heath Ledger. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think everything that can be said has been said over the years.
Yeah,
it's awful, and it's it's where we're at now. Guys, so here's the real important question.
Yeah.
This is a poster of 100 bucket list movies. Not biased, not created by men who clearly picked a bunch of dude movies from the early 90s and 2016. Do we think that it belongs on this bucket list of movie poster?
I know what you guys are gonna say.
Hey, you don't know me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't make assumptions about Shy, Jeff.
Yeah. I think that it does, and I'm gonna tell you why. The reason I think that it does is because it kind of paved the way for superhero movies. Not to say that it was the first one, but I think it might have been the first one that people were obsessed with on the level that probably inspired, the creation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and more DC movies. And comic book movies are an entire category now. You know what I mean? And I feel like The Dark Knight may have had something to do with that. And that's why I think it belongs on this poster.
I'll agree with that. I think, sure, some Spider-Man movies came out before that.
I was going to say, Spider-Man 1 came out in 2002. Spider-Man 2 came out in 2004 or 5.
But people weren't as obsessed over those movies.
No, people treated those more like kids' movies. Even though I don't think they were, but people treated them that way.
Even though they're my dad's favorite movies he's ever seen in theaters.
That's awesome.
As an adult.
Lebowski.
Well, yeah, that's his favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
But his favorite movie going to theaters with us as kids, mind you, only went to like 5 movies that he liked.
And he only went to that movie he wouldn't have went to that by himself, right?
Spider-Man, he would have gone alone because he loved Spider-Man as a kid. I have all my dad's Spider-Man comics. I have all that
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
he would have gone because he heard it was great, and Tobey Maguire was great, and that movie is
Yeah,
great.
he was.
Yeah.
We love Toby.
Yeah, we all love Tobey here, guys. And we're Tobey biased. That's fine.
Toby's great.
Point being, Jeff, do you think it belongs on this poster?
I think it does. Yeah. I think it's the best. It's a great comic book movie, but I just really enjoy watching. I believe it deserves it just because of Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. It not only kind of like put the comic book movies kind of like into obsessive mainstream type thing where it highlighted them a little bit, but also in terms of character development and like character portrayal, like it involved one of the best character portrayals of any villain in any movie.
What I'm going to say is I think what's important about this movie is it is one of the first comic book movies that was critically acclaimed into a way that none of these other ones were.
That's
And what I will say is I think better comic book movies, many of them have come out since.
Yeah.
But that being said, even though Iron Man came out 2 months before this and is also an amazing movie, this is the one that everybody grabbed onto and said, comic book movies are real movies.
Yeah.
And we still sit here today and a bunch of, big wig movie directors / Academy people still sit here and go, comic book movies aren't real movies. They're not cinema. Yet The Dark Knight is one of these movies that beat that trend and people actually really respected it. So I do.
It wasn't The Dark Knight the first comic book type movie to breach $1 billion, the box office?
I don't know that without looking it up. But I would be willing to say that Dark Knight does hold that point. And because there's not other comic book movies on this poster, really, like there's not really any other ones. This one, there's movies based on comic books, but there's not the Marvel / DC comic book movies. Because this is in that category and belongs there as this is the definitive movie. I don't think it's the best movie that's come out since. I think many comic book movies have come out that are better since. But it is important and it's notable in the history. And so
it is the first $1 billion comic book movie.
Everybody should go watch The Dark Knight. I don't love it, but I think you'll notice that as a trend here.
Dave either loves something or he hates it.
So, guys, we have one more thing to discuss here before we move on. Our next movie is available on HBO Max. It is a movie I've never seen. It is a movie I watched the trailer for and am very concerned about my enjoyment of this film moving forward, but we'll find out. Our next movie is City of God.
It's a Brazilian crime film.
Brazilian crime film.
The trailer is horrendous. That doesn't mean look. This is in such a way that it's like, this is one of the award-winning movies that you've always needed to see. Crime in the Brazilian West. There's a city that's separated from everyone else. This won 12 billion awards. This is City of God. Like, that is literally what the trailer is like. I just want you to be prepared. I don't think that is the tone. I don't think that's the tone of the movie, but
I think 100%, Dave, you're going to come to this next week and say, I hated this movie.
I think you're right.
There's nobody to root for, and it was a terrible movie.
Based on...
I don't...
Go ahead, Jay.
I was going to say I don't know anything about it. And so I'm just going to remain that way and then press play and see what happens.
It is not in the Dave genre. So that is what I will say. That does not mean I won't end up being very surprised. I have been surprised in the past and come out of loving movies I didn't think I would. But based on genre. So if you guys want to watch along with us, watch a bucket list movie off this poster, bucket list movies. We're watching City of God. It is available on HBO Max. That just seems to be the trend. I didn't even look at what the next movie is, so I can't even look after that point. But we'll be back here. YouTube is up. You guys can watch us on YouTube.
I know what movie's after this one.
Yay.
You look at the list. Feeds, podcast feeds are coming. I promise. I was working on them the other day, and the site got weird because the old hosting I used to use is way more complicated than it used to be. So that's a thing. I don't think it's impossible. I'm just gonna have to do some fiddly sick things. I don't know what that means. And we'll see you guys next time. I'm Dave. Okay.
I'm Jeff.
Go watch Dark Knight. Go watch City of God. Subscribe to the film. It's called the old
The
show.
Film Network.
The
If
flick.
you're Dave,
The flick.
watch Ant-Man first before you watch.
Yeah,
The
make
Dark
sure
Knight.
you watch Ant-Man and Thor: The Dark World, so you know like where my enjoyment sits for the Dark Knight. That's it, guys. All right, this is happening.
The Flick Network. We watch movies, we talk movies. Your online movie friends. The Flick Network.
The Flick Network is a production of the Snack Network LLC.